Hi comrades! I took a YouTube Guru's course and I got things to say. Aprilynne is one of the fastest growing YouTube educators. She became well known for her super in-depth tutorials and her iconic killer series. But is her course any better than her free content? What's inside? And was it even worth $2,000 that I spent on it? If you're new here, hi, I'm Victoria. I run a YouTube agency that generates millions of long-form YouTube views every year. And on this channel, I share everything I know about YouTube. So before we get into the tea, let's start with why I decided to take the course in the first place as someone who does YouTube strategy for a living. Let me know if you found yourself in these situations ever as a creator or as a business owner. So as a creator, the time I decided to take the course, really confused about where the strategy should go, where I should go, how my brand should look like. I was so confused. I didn't understand a lot of things and how to apply all the knowledge I have to me and to my channel. And as a service provider, someone who does the strategy for personal brands, I wanted to obviously make better service for my clients. So that's why I thought that this year is going to be dedicated to education. I'm going to take as many courses, coaching programs as I can in order to elevate my skills both in YouTube and in business. Let me know in the comments if you've ever felt like I felt, like when you just don't know what direction to go. You try a lot of things and you're not sure which thing works and which doesn't. And it ends up being so confusing that you just give up the entire thing. Did you ever feel like this? Leave a comment below. So I bought the course, but I didn't like it at the start at all. So let me tell you about my experience inside the course so that if you want to take the course, you understand whether or not it's for you or not. And if you are someone who sells educational products, you can also see the other side, like the consumer, the student side of it, and might also get some takeaways for your educational product. So as I said at the first, I didn't like the course because as a YouTube strategist, I know a few things, and the things that I started to learn from the course were kind of similar to what I already knew. And that's why I felt that's like nothing really new is coming. So I was like, did I waste my money really? Or should I wait to see what's coming? And yeah, in the first 3 weeks, I learned pretty much nothing. Then as time went on, I started to like this course more and more. First reason for that is that I finally started to get new insights. Surprise, surprise, as time goes on, you learn and find out more things. For example, one of the most wonderful things that I finally understood was the promise, progress, payoff framework. And essentially in the beginning, I said, I spent $2,000 on a YouTube Guru's course and I have regrets. So that's the promise. I promise you to spill the tea later on and maybe roast someone. So that's quite exciting. Then I go on with the progress. At first it felt like recycled content and I was annoyed. But then new insights and support and coaching part of it started to really help. So in the progress, I'm telling how it went. And in the payoff, I'm gonna end up with something like not worth for the info, worth it only if you pay for structure and feedback. That's the payoff, the takeaway. I love the promise, progress, payoff framework, and now I'm using it in every single piece of content, whether for me or for my clients. I had a realization. Why did it feel so annoying in the beginning, like I'm not learning anything, and then later on I like the course? I think it's because the ratio between money spent and the new things learned is so unequal at the start. So it's like the pain of giving away a lot of money is very big, whereas the payoff of doing that is quite small yet. So that's my theory why it feels so annoying in the start. And it's not only with this course, it's also with some other products that I felt in the beginning that I don't get enough value. Now I finally understand why. Another thing I loved about the course, it's exactly what you expect from Aprilynne. You know her wonderful tutorials on YouTube? It's basically exact same thing for her course slides, for like the lessons that I took. It's all well structured. It's so easy to comprehend. If you're a perfectionist especially, you're gonna love it. All the infographics, all the visuals, everything so that you understand the material better. And the biggest one is support. The love and care in the community that I got from this course is like nothing like anything I've ever gotten in any other course. We had multiple customer care representatives. We had calls with our team and we talked about like mental struggles of being a creator. And the biggest thing for me, the most valuable one, was the strategist's feedback. So every week my video was reviewed by a real YouTube strategist and I was receiving the real feedback on my stuff. Exactly what shifts to make to the video, for the retention, for the title, thumbnail, etc. So that's what I like the most. And obviously, if you have a big bunch of creators doing the same stuff, it makes you do stuff too, right? You can't be the only one fooling around. Like everybody's working, so it makes you work too, and that's amazing. If you find that it's hard for you to go ahead and start doing shit, I think you need that support from community, that support from paying something in order to get back on track and start acting. I don't know if you noticed, but this video is a little different than than anything I did in past. I'm finally in my yapping era again after a year of self-discovery. So if you like this type of content, subscribe to this channel so I know that I should create more of this in future. So that was the good stuff. Now it's time for the roast. Nothing personal, Aprilynne, nothing personal, the team, but there are a few things that might need to change. I think it's also going to be very useful for those who are creating products, especially educational products, because I am on both sides. I'm both a business owner who provides services, and I am a creator who wanted to learn from this course. So if you sell something, you might see some of the things that you might improve in what you provide to your clients. And also if you're a creator, I believe this insight will be useful for you too. So remember that I said that the course was easy at the start. Yeah, that's true, but later the chill went away and it started to become very overwhelming. And I am a strategist, so imagine how much more overwhelming it might have been for some beginners. But honestly, reflecting about it a little more, I was like, is the overwhelm that bad? Harvard students, they also feel overwhelmed. Of course, it's like the best school in the world. Yes, it will force them to put more effort than usual. So does this mean that feeling overwhelmed is bad? I think on one hand it's actually really good because it's gonna push you to try more, to be more creative about how you spend your time, to be able to prioritize better in order to succeed in what you're learning. So being overwhelmed overall is not an issue. But since this course is positioned as the program for beginners, I believe there's this one thing that could make the experience smoother and easier and more enjoyable for creators. So when I just enrolled, I was so excited to start it. I was so excited to start creating videos. But guess what? We didn't film a single video until like week 3. If it was my course, I would definitely accelerate that a bit. Not throwing anything away from the course, not changing anything in it, but just having people start to create as soon as possible. Why? Because when they do it, they will finally feel like they're winners. And that first video may get them views as soon as possible. Imagine how amazing it feels when you start winning and how much more motivation you have to continue going when you already have some results. I do this in my agency too. So whenever we start working with a new client, I make sure that we start recording as soon as possible. We hop on the onboarding call, and like the next day after the onboarding call, I try to get the outlines ready so that the next day they could already have the opportunity to film, and I nudge them to do that. Like, when are you recording? When your recording day is? As well as I front load the most promising ideas. So I make sure that we film video ideas that have the most potential for views at the start. That way, with this one client in finance niche, we were able to get 93k views in the first 2 months. It's like very small channel. As well as this other channel, their average views were like 4 to 5k a video, and then the first video we created together got 365,000 views, with an overall 559,000 views in our first month. Plus, we got 9.5k subscribers. All because I front-loaded the most promising idea. In the content, it works the same way too. Front-load some insight that people learn. So that's exactly what I did in this video. I told you about who Aprilynne is. So that's why right in the intro, you already felt like you learned something new. So pull the wins forward. It will help your clients, it will help your students, it will help your content. So, was Aprilynne's course worth the money? Hell yeah, it was totally worth every single dollar because it got me the new insights that I already started implementing. It had amazing mouth-watering structure and it gave me immense support. I literally felt like it was coaching for the price of the course. And also, we now connected with all the people, which I highly recommend. And we now have a group with the people from that course. So if I need an accountability buddy for something, I got a whole bunch of people to pull from. It's like you pay once, but you get accountability buddies for life. And if you create products, if you sell something, pull the wins forward. Make people do the thing and get the first win as soon as possible. For content, front load some insights, some tips, some wow effect right to the intro, to the beginning of the video, so that your viewers feel like they learned something right from the start. I can show you how I do this in this video where I shared my Ross framework. Yes, based on Ross Geller from Friends TV show. If you want to create more clickable titles, download them by the link in the description. And I hope you have the most wonderful day. Goodbye.